like the time when Mick Taylor left the Stones, the big question around the world is who's going to replace Mick Taylor? And I went upstairs and I remember Rory had gone to bed and I woke Rory and I said, Rory, you won't believe this, it's Ian Stewart is on the phone. I said, the Stones want you. And he wouldn't answer the phone, he thought it, because I was always pulling pranks. I had to go back down and keep talking to Ian Stewart until Rory eventually came down and sort of had a conversation. They wanted him to go to Rotterdam in Holland and start recording an album. He said, I know the Stones, I know the music. They're not going to, you know, they're just going to, they want me to go. I said, Rory, don't be crazy. And he did. He literally took a small little Fender Champ amplifier and his Stratocaster guitar and got on the plane to Rotterdam by himself. And I think he was there for 3 or 4 nights. And the situation was unresolved because what it was occurred is that at that time there was a little bit of acrimony between Jagger and Richards. And I think Jagger from Rory had seen Rory as a very professional guy, touring, great ethos, obviously, and musically they admired him because they had tried to sign him to their record label earlier on, and but the sessions would start at Keith Richard hours, 3 in the morning or whatever, and so after the second night, Rory sort of said, well, Marshall Chess, who was then sort of looking after the Stones in a management capacity, they were all, I mean, the press started to run the story, started leaked out. So I still have the press cuttings in the European ones. The story broke first. And so Rory said to Mick Jagger, he said, look, you know, what am I going to do? I've got this tour in Japan, and I've got to leave tomorrow at some point. And he said, oh, well, look, you know, I want you in. Will you go up and talk to Keith? Because it's got to be Keith's decision as well. And so they left. The terrible thing is that Rory went up to Keith's room and sort of went into Keith's room and tried to wake Keith, who was comatose, and waited up and sort of went back a couple of hours later and didn't get any sleep himself. And he just couldn't come around. And then he figured, well, I've got to get on the plane. Rory flew back. I met him at Heathrow Airport in London. Came off the flight in Rotterdam, and we got on the plane for Tokyo. That's the type of schedule he kept. So I always gave him a lot of stick. I said, if you had let me come, you'd... Yeah. And he said, we'd have had to cancel the Japanese tour. What about the kid? And I said, hey, you know, you could have all of us gone back and done that a few months later, and wow, you know, everybody, we just, you know, sold bigger venues, actually, if you'd come, you know.